Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of Trenny and C. I'm Trenny the C. We have something cool for you guys today. Again, we're doing a little bit of a run here of these interesting little old mini bottles.
This is an episode we call Try and Not Die. It's where we drink old, musty, dusty mini bottles that we bought off the internet.
Yeah.
And this is... We bought like 50 of them.
Yeah.
And the first bottle was a 1956 Crown Royal, and it was disgusting.
Well, you can watch that reaction in one of the other videos, but
probably the most disgusting whiskey I've ever tasted.
We're doing a few of these tonight, and that was the one we just did.
So we're coming off of that right now with low expectations.
Yeah, we'll see how far we get with these because. We don't really want to.
We don't really want to pass
I don't even really want to be super hungover tomorrow, really.
No.
So.
And, this stuff will probably do it.
Tell us what we got.
Yeah, so what we have here is the Cabin Still 6-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And this one has a copyright on it, which is interesting. It doesn't have an age statement. It has a copyright of 1974.
Oh, okay.
So here's the bottle, and some interesting things about the bottle here are that the tax stamp is intact, so that's a good sign. There is no perforated lower strip on the lid here, so I don't know if they had that in 1974 or not. But there's some interesting history around Cabin Still as a brand, and that is that Cabin Still, prior to 1972, as I understand it, was stitzel-weller, which is some of the most famed...
it's Weller.
Yeah, it's the original Weller juice that was very famous. But then the distillery was purchased, I think, in 1972. I'm not totally up on my history on it, but then...
Thereabouts.
It started to go downhill from there. So there is legend of some bottles post-1972 that are still good.
Yeah.
But then there's also some legend of this bitter cardboard aftertaste where it's it still has that kind of Buffalo Trace cherry. Yeah. But then there's this bitter cardboard aftertaste.
So regardless of the age of it being in the bottle, it being a little bit down,
if you look at fill level,
that could, in general, as when it first came out, if it wasn't that good, then it might. Yeah, I don't think it's getting much better in that bottle, but I'm just hoping that it's at least better than that Crown Royal we tried.
Yeah, and so the gentleman who owned these, or at some point owned these, had put wax around them. He'd put wax around the lid, so there is a little bit of waxiness on the tax stamp here as well, but that was done to preserve the contents, which did not work in the case of the Crown Royal.
No, so that could also mean, and I'm fairly certain it was legitimate, but it could also mean, these have been opened, filled up with something else, and then resealed, and then use that wax to make it seem like it's original. But you would think the wax would be...
The tax stamp would be torn on this one, though. Yeah, you would think. One thing also to note here is that the clarity of the liquid. There's a little bit of wax on the bottle, but there's no noticeable floaties, which is a good sign. There's no murkiness to it.
It's just so hard to know because really you could peel that, over time, that tax stamp, take it off,
you could
fill it, and then glue it back on. So we're kind of playing with fire.
That's a lot of effort.
Especially because we bought the whole thing for $20.
Yeah, we bought 50 bottles for $20. Yeah. So
let's crack it open. Let's show the people.
Yeah, all right. I mean, this is one of the ones that I have high hopes for.
It's the one. Basically.
There's a
few. We've kept some aside that we're hoping are going to be good.
We've got some scotches as well.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the only bourbon in the batch.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. I'm going to, what is this? 74 is 46 years old. This is a 46-year-old bourbon.
Yeah.
Aged 6 years.
Yeah, it's 6 years old.
And Cabin Still brand today is quite shitty. Cabin Still is... Yeah.
We got this cool thing. This is cool.
Yeah, and that's Cabin Still.
Yeah.
But that one is 1969 on the bottom. So
when they were thriving.
Yeah, it says stitzel-weller right on the bottom of this one. So like this one would have had the real good stuff in it. But, we'll see if this is up to snuff. Okay, and the wife has poison control on speed dial. Perfect. So okay, so the seal is now broken. Here we go. Careful, trying not to get any, like you can see a little bit of wax kind of peeling off of it. So just try not to get any of that into our drink. Okay, the lid has been removed.
Let's pour it out. I'm going to smell this lid.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has, like, you can see the little ring of stain around the inside.
The ring of Scooge?
Ring of Scooge, for sure.
Okay. All right, should we nose this thing or should we look at it? Let's look at it first before we get our...
Okay. I mean, the color is nice. As you know, with bourbon, they can't...
yeah, it's got that nice...
add any color into anything
dark
like that.
amber going on.
You got to give it the respect. Even if it's shitty, it's been trapped inside this bottle for a very long time.
Years.
So...
Nearly 50 years in that little tiny bottle.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I think Stitzel-Weller is supposed to have that Buffalo Trace cherry nose to it. I have never had 45-year-old Weller, so I don't know, but
6-year-old, 45-year-old Weller.
Yeah. So should we give it a nose?
Let's do it.
Okay,
that smells legit.
That actually smells
smells like it's not poisony, so that's good. That's a good start.
But it has that a mild version of that Buffalo Trace nose.
It is. It's like more of a overripe cherry kind of a nose.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a musty, dusty
This is
cardboardy kind of note on it for sure.
I mean, it's.
You know what it smells like, actually? It smells like that Kujira 5-year-old Japanese rice whiskey.
I can see that.
That smelt like watered down Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, and that had a little bit of a fermented thing to it.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. That's what it is. It has a fermented.
Slightly.
Oh, that's interesting.
Slightly like a little touch of like a wine note or something in there, like a.
It's like you said, like sake or something, like rice wine.
This smells pretty good.
It smells legit, and like there was only one bourbon in a batch of 50 bottles.
Yeah,
was the guy gonna buy another bottle of bourbon in order to trick us and to pour it in there, and it also be a Buffalo Trace smelling?
Right.
Like,
you're just losing money. You're losing money.
This is not a money making venture for him to try and rip us off.
I'm gonna taste it because I think the nose. I mean, the reason we have the sense of smell is to make sure that whatever we're putting in our body isn't complete poison. And as soon as we tried the last one, it was
we knew it
back in our glasses. So.
Yeah, we knew it. Okay.
And I actually kind of have like a little headache from it.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. I'm gonna swallow it.
I swallowed it.
It actually tastes like it's higher proof too.
It's quite high proof. What is it?
That's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
80 proof, but it has a lot of
none of the alcohol's evaporated out of that. That's for sure.
It has a lot of that like kind of rye spice on it.
It does, and
it's got this one's lively.
The
last one that we had, that Crown Royal, was flat instantly. This has a lot of life.
There is a rye kind of note to it. I'd say that the age of it being in the bottle is kind of on the finish. It's like a little bit dustier on the finish, but it's still pretty like you said, lively. Like there's a pop to it.
I think we have a winner here.
I'd say this
I'm not going to say it's the best bourbon I've ever drank, but I will say that I think that it is certainly not. But I think it's a survivor.
Yeah,
I think it survived.
I mean, honestly, like now that I've tasted it too, and going back to the nose, like there are some definite notes on there that are popping up that are a little like gluey,
little offensive.
But I mean, it's still behaving exactly like a bourbon. It is like
there is
what
a
you kind of come to
dry,
expect a bit.
Oaky, gluey bitterness on the finish, but it kind of arrives nice and sweet. Actually,
I'd say this is a winner. I'd say as long as like whoever gave this to us didn't put like arsenic in it or something, and we just can't tell.
Right.
This is pretty good.
Yeah. It's this is a sketchy prophecy every time that you get into these unknown.
You never know.
You don't know the lineage and the backstory behind these bottles, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we could wake up blind.
We could not wake up. You know.
We might not wake up at all.
But again, the nose was nice. You could tell instantly that it wasn't didn't seem tampered with.
If any of these were poison, it was definitely the Crown Royal.
Yes, yeah. But so far I like this, and I actually will probably drink this whole thing.
Well, I mean, after 45 years, we owe it that respect.
I'd say that's a winner.
Yeah, it is.
On our scale so far of losers and winners,
jackpot or not.
Yeah.
This is a jackpot. This is some legit 1974 cabin still 6-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 80 proof.
You know
Survivor.
When you buy like a Keno, like a $10 Keno card or whatever, and you win $10, like broke even. That's kind of what this feels like to me. Like this is. You didn't. We haven't lost.
Is this the $20 dram? Like, did this pay for the whole lot?
So far, I'd say it did for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
you'd probably pay $20 for an ounce of 1974.
Yeah,
cabin still.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us for this, and we hope to join. You can join us again in the nearest future.
We hope we can join you again.
Exactly.
Click like, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell us what musty dusties you've been opening.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.